Hello and welcome back to Hardworking Man. I'm Heath, and today I'm standing in our family Christmas tree farm, which as you can see, needs to be cleaned up. The weeds are so tall here, there's actually a deer bed right here next to one of our Christmas trees. So we got a new tool and we're gonna use it to get this stuff mowed down.
I'm Rachel, and this is our brand new Mowrator remote controlled lawnmower.
So we got the bagger on. You can run this with or without the bagger. There's also a mulching attachment. We're gonna run it with the bagger, which we're gonna have to dump quite a few times because there's a lot of debris in here, but then it won't all be around the bases of the Christmas trees. Now this thing is built like a tank. It's over 100 pounds, and as you can see, has a real metal blade that actually lifts and cuts. This thing's pretty impressive. It's all-wheel drive, it's got safety features built in, and it's got a lot of power. So let's see what exactly this thing can do.
So this is the remote that you use to control it. This left button has you go forward and backwards. The right one has you go to the left or to the right. On the top here is how you turn on your mower blades. And you have to have one finger engaged with the mower blade going at all times. So there's lots of safety features.
All right, so to start this task off, we're gonna put it on the highest setting right here, number 5. And Rachel was talking about safety features. There's sensors built in around this that you can have either turned on or turned off, depending on your situation. Here, we'll have the sensors turned off because it would sense these weeds and detect them as an obstacle. We know they're not, so we're gonna turn those off. The front bumper also has an impact sensor, so if you hit anything with the front bumper, it instantly shuts the blade down. All right, let's see how this thing does, because this is extremely overgrown. There's also some vines growing in here, which I'm curious how this Mowrator will handle. We might have to clear those vines out of the way so they don't bind up in the Mowrator. We'll see.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn the blades on, push and hold.
Please ensure safety.
And then I hit start. Okay, you can see, hopefully, there's a pass on that side and a pass on this side. We're gonna hit it another time just to really take care of the grass that got kind of just pushed down instead of cut because it was so long.
All right, so before we make another pass go in the opposite direction, we're gonna empty this bagger. We're gonna empty it quite a bit because it's so full. There's so much debris in here. They actually make an auto dump bagger for this and a vacuum, so you can vacuum up leaves and other debris and then just drive it to where you want and it'll dump itself, but we don't have that option. And now that we have one pass done, we should be able to go just a little bit quicker. And we hit a couple times where we would hit really, the woody weeds, and it would detect it as an impact and stop the blade. So now that we got it knocked down, we should be able to go a little bit quicker, and we're gonna get this cleaned up. It'll take a little bit of time because it's so overgrown, but I think this thing's gonna get the job done.
Please ensure safety.
All right, so one thing when you're operating this with the sensors turned off, you have to stay fairly close to it. Another safety precaution. If you have the sensors on, you can be further away. But because we have them off, because it would detect all this as an obstacle, I have to stay pretty close to the Mowrator so you can see what you're mowing.
Blade starting. Please ensure.
All right, so now we're gonna head to the next row of Christmas trees and do the same thing. Once we get all the edges of the Christmas trees edged out, then we'll start getting the middles and we'll start going up in between the trees this way too.
Blade starting. Please ensure safety.
All right, as you can see, this thing did a pretty good job. It's not a brush hog, it's a lawnmower, and we're putting it to the test because we want to see what this thing can do. Now, you can barely get between these rows with a small riding lawnmower, but then all the grass you cut goes onto the next row of trees. So I would be out here weed whipping normally. As you know, I let the property get out of hand this year and we're way behind on the Christmas tree farm. But now, once we get this under control, I'll just be able to come out here, buzz through here with the remote control Mowrator and keep it knocked down.
All right, so we're gonna put this on time lapse. We're gonna just go through this, quit stopping, and see what it can do. And then we're gonna move on to the next task.
Well, I wake up in the morning, sun is rising high. Got my old boots on and a gleam in my eye. Grab my hat and gloves, it's a beautiful day. Mowrator's calling and I can't stay away. Rolling out the shed, it's shiny and bright. Handles like a dream, oh, it's pure delight. With a turn of the key, it starts to hum. Mowing the lawn never felt this fun. Mowing and grooving with my Mowrator. Through the tight spots, it couldn't be greater. Easing through the grass, ain't no fuss. Just riding with a smile, leaving green dust.
So as you can see, I switched my hat out because I didn't want to get my nice orange hat all sweaty because it is hot and miserable, which is another great reason to use the Mowrator instead of a weed whip. So while Rachel was doing the Christmas tree yard, viewer, our neighbor Clyde, came over and he helped me unload this stack of pallets. He brings these really nice pallets over. I put implements on them. I'm going to stack firewood on them. Great thanks to Clyde for bringing these over. Now let's go see how Rachel has that Christmas tree yard looking. What happened?
Lefts and rights sometimes are hard for me.
Smashed into the tree.
So then I let go.
That's where that safety sensor comes in handy. As soon as that thing bumps something, it shuts it down. You can see how much grass we pulled off of there, and I'll show you how easy this thing is to dump. And we're over full.
Easy peasy.
So what do you think of the first time using the Mowrator, cleaning up this well overgrown Christmas tree yard?
Well, once we got through like the majority of the big, nasty stuff, it was actually really fun. Just like weaving in and out, seeing how close I could cut it. You saw I accidentally ran into one because sometimes my brain doesn't work with the lefts and rights like it should on the, but it's a super easy to use remote. It's just my own fault. Sometimes I think I'm going left when I should be going right. But I'm so thankful that I didn't have to use a weed whip out here because I'm clean. You can see I don't have crap all in my hair. I'm not covered head to toe. I didn't have to put pants on. It's so hot. I would hate to have pants on right now. And those weed whips just throw stuff everywhere. It gets all in your hair, all over your face. You're disgusting. You're dirty. I think this is beyond better than having to use a weed whip for this.
One thing that gave us some issues initially when this was super tall is there's a big rut right here. And I guess the combination of the tall, thick weeds and the dip, they would hit into the base of the weeds and it would detect hitting something and it would stop. Once we got it mowed down, it goes through this dip easily. And the other thing that gave us a little bit of an issue that I thought it would was these vines, because these vines would wrap on the bumper and then it would pull and then it would hit it like it was a obstacle basically.
I almost just fell on a vine.
Yeah, these vines are not designed for any lawnmower to go over, let alone a battery powered one, but that thing did an awesome job.
Let's take a look.
All right, so here's the Chevy Tracker that I want to turn into a nice woods truck, but I don't know that I'll get to it. It needs a new motor. I might just have to get rid of it to clean this place up. But as you can see, there's not really room to get one of our zero turns around here, but I don't want it all grown into these weeds. So I'm gonna quick whip a path around this. You can see when you're not in an absolute jungle, this thing really performs well. I mean, this is still overgrown grass, but it's not brush and it's not vines, and it knocks it right down. It does go a lot slower for safety. So there, I got into all that thick, heavy stuff, and the bag is probably full. So the combination of that, it detected a load on the blade, so it shut it down. I'll get this cleared up, back it up, get the blade going again, and go into that a little bit slower.
Blade starting. Please ensure safety.
So as you can see, that was pretty easy cleaning up around the old Chevy Tracker. Will I ever get it running? Should I keep it and get it back in the woods on the road, or should I just get rid of it to clean up this mess of a yard? Let me know in the comments down below. So hills can be dangerous on riding lawnmowers on zero turns. This isn't a crazy big hill, but it's a decent hill and it's not that comfortable doing on a lawnmower on the angles. So we're gonna take the Mowrator around and go up and down it and just do this little path here where we didn't get up to with the zero turn.
Blade starting. Please ensure safety.
because we're cleaning up all the grass that the county or the township mowed and pushed down into the tall grass. So we're cleaning this up and it'll look a lot better. We're probably gonna have to empty that bagger here after this bed. All right, I would say for hills, this thing's gonna be awesome. If you have some unmowable hills, this thing's the ticket. A few more areas I wanted to test the Mowrator. We were actually gonna do this the same day that we did the Christmas tree farm, but on our way home, it started raining and it poured. But that's gonna give us a little bit better scenario to test this thing in, because here on Hard Working Man, we push stuff to the limits. This thing's not a brush hog, but we used it for one because we wanted to see what it was capable of. We did find out that with vines on that front sensor, if they wrap around it, it stops it as an obstacle. That's probably gonna happen here because what I have here is our grapevines, and we can mow along them with the zero turn, but going in between them and everything is sort of a pain, and if you don't get the weed whip out, it doesn't get done. I'm thinking with the Mowrator, it'll be perfect for weaving in and out as long as we don't hit some straggler vines and stop it with the motion sensor. Also, with this bagger, which I didn't think I'd like, I think it's gonna be perfect to not leave all the debris and the grapevines. When we're done with that, we're gonna try to mow around the pond, which is the wettest it's ever been. So is it gonna work? I don't know. This is usually our yard, and as you can see, it's standing water now. But we're gonna see if we can knock this down to leave less to weed whip. Obviously up here, where it's a lake, we're not gonna be able to get that, but we can see if we can get to the edge, and when this is dry, we should be able to get real close and leave very little weed whipping. Then we're just gonna take it out in the yard and try to run the autopilot and see how that works. What do you guys think of the Mowrator? Because so far, I've been pretty impressed. Let's see what else it can do. And there you saw hitting the vine. That one's a little bit too tight to get it through there. So there will be a little bit of work left with the weed whip, but I knocked that out pretty quick. I'm not all sweaty and dirty and nasty, so I think it's gonna be a win for maintaining the grapevines. Now let's go see how it can do around the edge of the pond. All right, so we tested the Mowrator out in some brush hogging applications, which isn't what it's designed for, but we wanted to push it to the limits. We did the Christmas tree farm, we did the ditch bank, we did around the old vehicle. That you guys need to let me know if I should keep that tracker and get it running or get rid of it. We did around the pond. Now we're gonna show you if you need to mow some property, like a yard. And this thing, so I dropped it down to the level 2 setting, and now I'm gonna try the autopilot on and see how that works. This isn't a GPS mower, so it won't mow itself, but it does have autopilot. So to use autopilot, you have to turn on the infrared sensors, which we had to turn off for doing the tall weeds and the brush. All right, so we had to turn the ultrasonic sensors back on, and we had to put it into smart mode. Now we're gonna go back just to the regular. We're gonna start the mower blades, holding both buttons, pressing start, and then we'll hit go. While it's moving on autopilot, you can adjust the steering a little bit right to left. And when it gets down to the end, you can either do a left turn or a right turn. Let's let the wiener dog get out of the way here. Dee, watch out. Come on. Come on. Hey. Come on, you're standing right in the way. Come on. Get over here. Yeah, it's a mower. Come on.
Oh, are you guys trying to do something over here? Let me just stand right. Come here. Dee, come.
All right, so now I'm going to start the blades, then I'm going to start the autopilot. One thing I really like about this too is these lights here. It tells you what it's doing. If it's green, it's ready to go. If it's red, something's on. Like if one of these emergency stops are pressed, or if something's not working right. When it's initializing, it's yellow. When it's on autopilot, it's blue. So let's start the blades.
Blade starting. Please
Start the autopilot. And now, I'm not controlling it. I'm just holding the mower down so it keeps mowing. And when it gets up to that tree, I'm going to hit the left turn button and it should turn around and come right back to us. You can see it's leaving us a nice short mow job in the yard. Cleaning up the debris as it goes. Hit that turn button. So as you can see, you're going to have to adjust it a little bit because it's not GPS, but it'll turn around, then you get it back on track, and it's good to go. So now we'll turn it to the right. Make a slight little adjustment. So if you're mowing your yard, you can do it pretty effortlessly. You can see I got a little off track there, left a few strands. So is it the fastest, most efficient way to mow your yard? Probably not. Is it one of the funner ways to mow your yard? I would say so. Mowing some shorter grass, you can turn the speed up too. So let's turn it up to rabbit here when we flip it around. So you can see here when you use that auto turnaround with this wet, swampy soil like we have right now because of all the rain, it does leave some markings. So if you have a pristine yard and it's wet or a little bit soft, you're probably going to want to turn it around manually instead of using that auto turnaround because it just spins it on a 0-point turn. But overall, I'd say that was pretty cool, pretty fun. And if you need some entertainment, this is a great tool. If you need to mow some steep hills, hard to reach places around your pond, Christmas trees, places you can't get with a regular mower, this could be the tool for you. So what do you guys think about the Mowrator? It's pretty sweet. We put it through its paces, which is what we do here on Hard Working Man. We push stuff to the limits and past what it's supposed to do. This isn't a brush hog, it's a lawnmower. We brush hogged with it and it did the job. Yeah, it got stopped from time to time, caught up on vines or hitting too thick of weeds that it thought was an obstacle or getting stuck when we had too big of a rut from the tractor tires. But overall, this thing impressed and it's fun to run. If you want to learn more about the Mowrator, we'll have a link to it in our description. You can also save 5% with our discount code that'll be in the description. Make sure to check that out. Check out the Mowrator. Let us know, is this something you could use on your property, maybe for your landscaping business? If you have some hard to reach places, some steep hills that you're not comfortable driving a 0-turn on, do you think this thing is worth having, or is it a gimmick? Is it just something for fun? I think it's a legit tool in the right circumstances, and we saw what it can do. It impressed us. Thanks for watching Hard Working Man, guys, and have a great day.